enforce Cray have become synonymous with crime and violence. In every firm there were ruthless enforcers. One man in particular stands out, Frankie Fraser. Born in 1923, he earned his moniker after slashing gangland boss Jack Spot. He went on to become a key member of South London's most infamous gang, the Richardsons. Fraser's role was to offer protection to pubs and clubs in exchange for Eddie's one-armed bandits being installed. Failure to do so meant running the risk of having the landlord or the pub damaged.
Oh, I'd come out of prison doing 7 years.
I check the weather out and see the rain, and suddenly my definition goes down the drain. I need a cream for this curly bad day. Oh, girls just wanna have fun. Epic volume and skip the bar.
He's approaching the goal, but can he deliver the goods? Back of the net! What a finish! Deliveroo! Football just got even better.
And I was introduced to them and liked them immediately. Find it was put down the toilet, I flushed the chain, and it's floating somewhere off the Isle of Wight. And for the rest of his career, he was known as the Area Harry. Well, Fraser had a quite a notorious reputation, mainly gained by his imprisonment. So when he came out of prison, he'd done all sorts of things, so he had a reputation for imprisonment. I must say that he was game. If there's anything to do, I had to see someone or do anything, I used to say, Frank, we've got to go somewhere. He never hesitated. He jumped in the motorhome, so he was game enough, that's all I'd say.
Eddie Richardson was once described by not one, but 2 Home Secretaries as one of the most dangerous men in Britain. Together with his older brother Charlie, they controlled South London. Eddie Richardson was more of the muscle man. Charlie was a businessman, and Eddie teamed up with Mad Frankie Fraser and started a company called Atlantic Ghost.
Hi everyone.
And they put in fruit machines in various pubs and clubs around Soho, which they made money from, but they also got protection from those premises and made quite a lot of money.
It was bits of violence. Of course it was. There was everywhere, isn't there? Everywhere. And especially more so in them days, because, as I say, more people used
like
to
and subscribe, please.
Much more than what they do now.
I think today, like particularly bad incidents up there.
Well, there was some people did get chopped up a bit with a couple of choppers, on their legs, mainly on their legs. I think they was Polish that tried to encroach on someone's property. So they did get, chopped up a bit. But no one got arrested for it. It didn't happen in them days like that. Nowadays, it's all on film, these cameras, video.
Cracks just in case there's a blade in there or drugs or money. Once I found a £50 note, Anyway, so I'm cleaning my old cellar and I've heard the keys in the boots and they're all opening the doors,
Yeah.
And then I've heard a tap on my door. But before I said anything, I could smell it. It was boiling hot coffee. And coffee in 75 was a bloody luxury, believe me.
Yeah.
So I said, who's that? So he's walked in. He's got a big jug of boiling hot coffee in one end and a packet of chocolate digestive biscuits in the other end. Double bubble luxury, that. He said, do you like chocolate biscuits and coffee, son? I said, fucking hell, not half. He's put them on the table, put his hand out. I'm Reggie Gray. So I give him a hug. I said, God, fucking nice one, Reg. Heard so much about you. Privileged to meet you. He said, I'm 2 cells down. If you need anything, come and see me. I said, nice one, Reg. Fantastic, mate. So I'm sitting in my cell, ducking these chocolate biscuits in my coffee, big smile on my face, and I fucking couldn't believe it, you know?
Yeah.
Next minute, another tap on my door. Oh, yeah. He's walked back in. He's got a battery-operated record player, pile of LPs. He said, do you like a bit of music? I said, cool, no, half, Reg, thanks, mate. He said, no, I'm running. And that was my first meet with Ron and Reg.
Oh, it's amazing that, like, I mean, that.
Fucking mate, but listen to this, that's not all. I knew from day one that Ron was mad because I could tell by his eyes, you know. And that's why we had a lot in common, because we both suffered a little bit with unpredictable behaviour. And when he left, I was looking at all these LPs, Shirley Bassey, Cliff Richard, the Rolling Stones, the Small Faces, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra.
You're looking cool.
I feel alright, yeah.
Yeah, you're looking good. He's looking good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Nightmare teachers.
Yeah, I had some.
one?
Yeah, I had plenty, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you ever rebel?
A few times, yeah. Got in lots of trouble at school, really.
Yeah.
Being a silly boy, you know. I regret it now, obviously. You always do when you're older, but there was a couple of nasty ones. We had a couple of good ones, though. We had a Mr. Sharp, who was great.
Why was he great?
Well, he was interesting, you know. Trouble is, with a lot of teachers, they're not interesting.
Sorry?
So you get bored with them, so you don't learn anything.
They've
I
got
mean, how can you come top in physics and history and come bottom in biology? Which has always been my problem.
It's true, they've got all the material, but they can't deliver it.
No.
If they were actors, they would never be cast in a film or a play.
No, never. They're quite rightly so.
They'd be turned down on the casting couch. Scum was all about teenage delinquency, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's institutions, you know. Scum was about an institution, about handling kids. It was supposed to be there to be rehabilitated, but he never was. You know?
Did you ever see the film Scum?
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene with the pool balls in the start?
Oh.
I still think about that every night. I don't know whether it was really cool or just quite horrific.
It's probably kinky.
Is it? All right, Ray. Well, you know, I mean, that was a big moment for you. I mean, that film was so famous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How old were you then?
About 22. We've done it twice. The first time we've done it was a BBC version, which is probably a better film because we were 2 years younger and we're kids. So when we come to do it the second time around, we were more grown up, more men.
You've done it once anyway.
Yeah, and it's always difficult, I think, which Alan Clark told us. He was a great teacher, you know. That, don't try and change it the second time, you know. It's more difficult to do it.
But when you achieved that success, I mean, you were incredibly famous and very cool as well.
For a while, yeah.
So what was that like at 22?
Your head gets about this big.
Massive.
Yeah, you start buying every time you buy someone a drink, they think you're being flash, you know. So.
And did you work again after that?
No, it took a few years, you know. I thought it was very easy. I went straight into Scum and I thought that was the game. I thought that the business was so easy. It was unbelievable. But
No,
it's not. No, you know, you have to learn your trade.
were there dark days after that?
Not dark days. I had some great times, you know, but not in this industry, you know.
Because in the 80s you just stopped acting completely,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah. There was a lot of crap about, you know. I got really bored with
It
it.
still is though.
Well, yeah, but I'm lucky enough to be getting some better stuff there, you know. But I got really bored with it.
So what did you do?
I ducked and dived a little bit.
That's what it says here. It says quote unquote he ducked and dived.
Yeah, I just really knocked about with my mates and just had a laugh, you know. I went back to childhood, I suppose.
But you got banged up as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got banged up.
Not for any justifiable reason.
No. In
Tell
fact, 1,500 people were pulled in on the same charge. It was a murder in Leeds. It wasn't funny for the family, I suppose, but there was two policemen that shot in Leeds, and I was sitting there one day watching something the equivalent of Crime Watch or whatever it was, and my photo came up.
Well, it wasn't your photo, was it?
Well, I thought it looked really like me. Even my wife said that's you, and a week later I was pulled in. She probably grasped me up, actually.
Somebody must have grasped you up.
Well, someone put it, unless...
But it was a photo fit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a photo fit, and Ray jokingly said to his wife, "That looks like me." 2 days later, police turned up at the door.
Bang. Cuffed, gone.
Okay, you may not remember this, but we've actually got the photo fit.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
Okay. Here it is. That was it. And that was you in the cap. Now,
That's my dad.
okay, well, look, we've actually got a cap similar to that, and we can actually just see if it still looks like you there.
I bet it don't even fit. Is this the original cap?
No, there's a cap. There's a come in, put it. What do you think? Suits you. So you were banged up for 72 hours.
Yeah. So what was that like? It wasn't very nice. I could imagine if you're guilty of anything, which I never have been, that it's you know how to play the game, but being banged up in Leeds when you're innocent, there's not much you can say. The more you say, the more you drop yourself. And it was like a Monty Python sketch, you know. We used to make it all with tongue and suck teeth and dumb plot. It's exactly how it sounded. And where you're nervous, I kept getting the terrible giggles, you know. And they were getting
for a murder charge, you started.
Well, you know, it's nerves, you know. But it was a really weird situation. And in fact, I didn't know where I'd been that day. When the days come out, I don't know what I was doing on a certain day, a year earlier, you know. But someone did find out I was actually doing a fringe play. I was rehearsing a fringe play, which I never ever told them. Once I come out, because I was hoping they were going to nick me again, so I could sue them. But it never came about, thank God. But they did actually. They say they caught someone. They shot a man dead in the house up north somewhere.
They shot him dead?
Yeah, dead. And so that never went to court. So.
Do you find that the police have it in for you because you are a hard man?
No, I think they find it very difficult to actually tell the difference between reality and fantasy sometimes. You know.
It's the Bills' fault.
It's all down to the bill, you know.
That's what it is. Yeah. So listen, we played football a couple of weeks ago at Wembley.
Yeah.
And Ray's
I played football.
Oh, don't. I know I'm a terrible footballer. I know that. But I mean, if you get the chance to turn out Wembley, you just turn out.
Do it.
And that's the end of it. And Ray very casually said, "I said, are you sticking around, Ray?" He said, "No, I've got to go. I've got to go to the BAFTAs tonight." And I went, "Ooh." And I thought he just got an invite. I didn't realise he's up for Best Actor. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was lovely.
You kept that quiet. You're so modest. So was that for Nil by Mouth?
Yeah.
That's a lot of swearing in Nil by Mouth.
There is, yeah. You can't show crit.
No, we've tried. We've been sifting through it.
Yeah.
But do you think swearing's the way forward?
I think I'd like to make a version of Nil by Mouth, but do it with the upper classes. I think it'd be very interesting there.
Well, like the remix of Shakespeare.
Yeah, do it like a Merchant Overy film, but you know.
So what would some of the swear words be replaced by then in the upper class category?
The upper classes.
Yeah.
I've arrived and things like that, I suppose.
So listen, you didn't win the Best Actor.
No, I didn't. The great actor did though.
You came blooming close. Now Robert Carlyle won it. And he's a hero nowadays.
Yeah.
Do you remember his speech?
Sort of, yeah. I was a bit sort of in another way. I was a bit pissed at the time.
All right. He said, I want to dedicate this to the greatest man I've ever known.
He's dead.
My father.
Yeah.
Which I thought was one of the coolest speeches.
It was great.
What would you have said if you'd have won?
I had something worked out about my mum. You know, I'd like to dedicate it to mum, but I think that's just because we're very similar sort of people. I like to think anyway.
You and Robert had a deal. He would give it to his dad, and you give it to your mum.
Yeah, he come right unstuck there because 20th Century Fox said they were going to pay my suite, but I didn't tell him. So he's probably paid for it and they have as well. So they've had a double up there.
But you and him had a good night afterwards, didn't you?
We did, yeah. We partied, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I had the wife with me, Chris. It's all right.
All right, no, it's fine. It's just you know, banging on about it, making, oh yeah, we got lashed.
We had a great night, you know.
No, he's a top man.
Yeah.
Okay, are you going to work together again?
I'd love to. I'd work with him any time. Yeah, but
okay,
he's a fine actor. And also, I've got to say that night as well, we keep talking about me and him, but there was also Billy Connolly and Kevin Spacey, two great actors, you know. So whoever would have won that would have been, you know.
But you're flying now, aren't you? I mean, this new film that's out today, Martha Mears.
Yeah.
I went to see it, and
it's a good film, isn't it?
You know,
it's a great film.
Fell in love with it.
Yeah, I read your
Nobody got hurt and nobody got shot, did they? Or stabbed or anything like that. That's making a bit of torture. About electric bulbs. They never found one in my premises or anyone else's. Nobody got hurt and nobody got shot, did it, or stabbed or anything like that. That's actually a bit of torture. About electric bulbs. They never found one in my premises or anyone else's. No.
Charlie Richardson used
Charlie and Eddie Richardson.
top 10 wit.
I've got two brothers, Alan, Eddie, and my sister Elaine. Alan, I lost him on the Thames, going through a tunnel. A boat got in front of us, a big boat, caused the waves, hit the bridge and turned the boat over. We're both in the water, and I'm like, terrible. I explained to my mum that was going to kill me for years, ruined me. In prison, I used to think about him every night. You know, lovely kid, a lovely, lovely brother. Alan, yeah, loved a bit of football, and his big ambition was to buy colour crayons. You know, he has had it 18, 19, 20, you know what I mean?
Both Charlie and
Mira esto. Hola, Char. ¿Puedes ponerme el pelo?
The Crays, they said, run London. No, they didn't run London. They was every in the East End. They was no different to what we are today. Charlie Richardson, he, in this country, was head of what they called the torture gang. They run South London. And forget the Crays, they weren't on that level. They'd like to have been on that level, but Charlie Richardson, that fam, they was earning lots of money, doing everything. Mines in South Africa, working with the government over there. It weren't an organisation like you're talking about.
No, it was different with us. We controlled major cities. New York was under our control. Chicago, New Orleans, Florida, Kansas City, Cleveland. We had tremendous control back then. And again, because we were very organized and very disciplined.
Charlie was his friend. Charlie wasn't. He never worked for Charlie. That's enough of him.
If you're in
The Richardson gang, led by
Guy Billboards, say Ronnie, or Parker.
Oh, your brother.
For some years, there was an uneasy truce between the Crays in East London and the Richardsons in South London. That truce was shattered in the West End.
And then the gambling started, one-arm bandits. That's when all the trouble started, because the Crays were putting them one-arm bandits in some of the...
Yeah, so that's how it worked then. So we were organised crime in our little areas, but if we'd all got together, which was what the Crays trying to do, but the Crays weren't the right people to do it with. The Crays, they said, run London. No, they didn't run London. They was...
Charlie Richardson, one of Britain's most notorious gangland bosses.
Power doesn't.
He would not front any of the frauds. Never mind that.
What is that? Did you know that while my dad's a bit older than the twins, used to go back to their house after the pub shut and that was out of the way, and that's how he knew the twins. When my father was doing the seven and that, the twins were very good to my father. They used to take my Aunt Eva up to see him, because Eva used to say to my dad, Frank, I don't know if there's something wrong with them, they keep washing their hands and everything else, really Eva asked for which a woman would. But they were very, very good to my father. And when the old man came home, of course, they dearly wanted my dad to join them, you know, but he stayed where he's loyal, he's our South London. As I say, they dearly wanted it, and the twins were very, very good to Eva, to my father, you know, when he was in prison running up on visits, making sure she had money, making sure my father had money in it.
Later in his life, Patrick was also introduced by his father to co-leader of the firm, Ronnie Cray.
When we come out of this restaurant today, and we was talking about Ronnie Cray, he said, I never guessed that he was homosexual. I said, never in a million years would you have guessed it. I said, what was he like? He really went, how's he act? He said, he was a nice fella. You know, and he's talking to me now, but he said, he was a nice fella. He said, but you'd never have guessed he was gay. And years ago when he was out, there was two women in South London, and they were aunts of this young girl who had a baby, and she weren't capable of bringing the baby up, so these aunts had the baby. Anyway, Reggie Cray's mate, I can't think of the guy's name, he was in the army with them. This fella was right close to him. The birds moved in with him and with his baby. So the two aunts went to my dad and went, look, Frank, could you get a back for us? So he goes and sees Reg and went, look, Frank, baby's got to come back. So they went, all right, Frank, all right, I agree with that. But don't belt him, Frank. No, the fella's got it. He went, no, I won't. So they got the kid back. The fella said, so they built the life out of him, the old man. So they worked out, you know, close. They could, because as I say, the twins were very good to Eva and my father when he was away.
You've been selected.
Oh, your brother's done a runner.
Nah, he's just genuinely disappointed with it, that's all.
And Charlie Richardson said we're to knock the granny out of you, Reg.
Oh, yeah, he did he? That's good of him.
Now, I knew Charlie Richardson, and I knew Eddie very, very well as well. I used to play in Bambi and in Parkhurst many years later. So I have different aspects of what the Cray Twins was really like. They scripted this well, this scene, because Reggie was known for the cigarette punch. So we would definitely pull people in like that and have that kind of way about him.
Full stop. Got a little joke for you. I love this one. Paranoid schizophrenic who walks into a bar.
There were many tales. I mean, for instance, in a very famous cafe on the Bethnal Green Road, Police's, and our Reggie actually punched someone, threw them through the front window there one morning, having an argument.
On the 30th of July 1966, World Cup final day, Charlie was arrested during a dawn raid, along with...
Try doing boxing. Doesn't look like it yet.
It's Max. Right, so what did you just say to me? You own all the drones? I own all the drones. I live in...
The most dangerous person is some...
Oh, God! Biggest mistake a person can do right now, no matter in which situation you are, is to give up. You might not reach the best version of yourself in this lifetime, but a better one than you are right now. Biggest mistake a person can do right now, no matter in which situation you are, is to give up.
Yeah, and
It's a good film, isn't it?
You know,
It's a
actually,
great
you
film.
fell in love with it.
Yeah, I read your thing about it.
And you play... Well, I can't say what you play because it blows one of the greatest gags I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's out today. You've got to go and see it. They say it's the new Four Weddings and a Funeral. It's sort of isn't.
I think it's better.
It's sort of
I mean,
is.
I'm only in it a little while, you know, but the cast is brilliant in it, and it's a great film.
So are you going to take another 10 years off and duck and dive again?
But the cast is brilliant in it, and it's a great film.
So are you going to take another 10 years off and duck and dive again?
But the cast is brilliant in it, and it's a great film.
So are you going to take another 10 years?
Nobody got hurt and nobody got shot, did they, or stabbed or anything like that. That's what makes it a bit of torture. That electric box, they never found one in my premises or anyone else's. Nobody got hurt and nobody...
Charlie and Eddie Richardson.
Top 10. Two brothers, Eddie.
Both Charlie and Eddie were initially sent to Durham prison.
Charlie was labelled Category A and placed in a maximum security wing. He was deemed to be a threat to national security, to fellow inmates and the public, and was regularly moved from prison to prison to prevent him from...
And there was, I met Ronnie O'Sullivan's dad, the snooker player, who became a good friend.
The Crays, they said, run London. No, they didn't run London. They was every in the East End. They was no different to what we are today. Charlie Richardson, in this country, was head of what they called a torture gang. They run South London. And in fact, I'd probably say that was the nearest thing we come to proper organised crime, was the Richardsons. They were, forget the Crays, they weren't on that level. They'd like to have been on that level, but Charlie Richardson, that firm, they was earning lots of money. They was doing everything. They had mines in South Africa, working with the government over there. It weren't an organisation like you're talking about.
No, it was different with
Charlie was his friend. Charlie wasn't.
Cell phones with minor
The Richardson gang, led by brothers Charlie and Eddie Richardson, ruled the...
I got problems, say Ronnie.
Oh, you're
For some years, there were...
Yeah, so that's how it worked then. So we were organised crime in our little areas, but if we'd all got together, which was what the Crays trying to do, but Crays weren't the right people to do it with. The Crays, they said, run London. No, they didn't run London. They was every in the East End. They was no different to what we are today. Charlie Richardson, in this country, was head of what they called a torture gang. They run South London, and in fact, I'd probably say that was the nearest thing we come to proper organised crime was the Richardsons. They were, forget the Crays, they weren't on that level. Yeah, so that's how it worked then. So we were organised crime in our little areas, but if we'd all got together, which was what the Crays trying to do, but Crays weren't the right people to do it with. The Crays, they said, run London. No, they didn't run London. They was every in the East End. They was no different to what we are today. Charlie Richardson, in this country, was head of what they called a torture gang. They run South London, and in fact,
Charlie Richardson.
Power doesn't always come from money. Sometimes it comes from reputation. In 1960s South London, Charlie Richardson understood something important. If people believe you are powerful, they rarely challenge you. His group focused on collecting debts and arranging protection for businesses. But what made it effective wasn't constant action. It was image. If one person had a difficult experience, others would hear about it. Word traveled fast in close communities. And once a reputation spreads, it often grows bigger than reality. That's how fear works. You don't need to prove yourself every day. People begin to assume. They decide it's safer to cooperate than to resist. Richardson's group stayed organized. They didn't create chaos in public. They kept things controlled and quiet. That made the influence stronger. Because when something feels calm on the surface, people don't always see the pressure underneath. But something important. If people believe you are powerful, something important. If people believe you are powerful, they rarely challenge you. His group focused on collecting debts and arranging.
He would not front any of the frauds. The man Richardson really wanted to employ was Jack Duval, one of the top con men.
Like no one's business.
side is inexperienced and unorganized. Then the negotiator you've personally faced situation. When the other side is inexperienced and unorganized, then the other side of the table is never going to do the thing that is ultimately in their best interest. And so if somebody's really arrogant on the other side, it's going to be hard to get through because they're just not going to believe. And arrogance usually equates to inexperience. If we're never going to get the deal, if there's lives on the line, we're going to try anyway. We're going to find a way to get.
Toughest negotiator, Oprah or Trump? Who's the better negotiator?
I'm a huge fan of her negotiating ability. The things that she's gotten people to say, the really big difference between the two is Oprah has put people in their place plenty of times, and
We are on set with Fury.
The words win-win in the first 5 minutes of a negotiation, red flag or green light?
Red flag.
Why?
Because the cutthroat negotiators have found that it's a great way to get people to drop their guard. And I can't think of a single time when somebody used the words win-win in the first 5 minutes who wasn't trying to get me to do something for nothing.
The words win-win in the first 5.
I don't believe that AI is ever going to outperform the human mind. I think that the brain actually has quantum.
Can I use Shopify? Trump or Obama? Who's the better real-world negotiator?
Without question, Trump. I think Barack Obama is a very good-hearted human being. I can have a lot of things about him that I admire and not admire as negotiating.
You're sitting across the table from Donald, and it's assertive. Do you match the voice? What do you do there?
Quick note about Trump. He talks loudly in public. The contrast in private, in person, one-on-one, is always charming. He's incredibly astute, extremely smart, and he understands what skills to use where. Even Bill Maher says Trump's charming in person. The mayor of New York, Mandami, they got along fine in the Oval Office. The mayor of New York called Trump tons of names, and they had an extremely cordial meeting in the Oval Office. So what does that tell you? That tells you assertives get over name calling really fast.
You're sitting across the table.
Curiosity is super. I have sat down with people to find stuff out about them that they were intentionally holding back from me by just being curious. Because you can't resist my curiosity. And so when you're in any situation, you'd be like, wow, okay, all right, that's fascinating. What's behind that? I mean, how does that work? If you're bamboozling me, you're not going to be able to.
Ronnie Crow was a strange one, nice bloke, but strange. Something they never ever say about him, which I thought was the freakiest thing, right? He never blinked.
He never blinked.
Because when he went to prison, fluorescent lighting had just come out. It was new, it fucked you up. And when he went to prison, it was on, his light was kept on all day and all night. So it fucked him up that he just don't blink. He was used to, and when he talks to you, he goes,
he's just like that.
Oh, really?
Fuck that.
Would you go to the canteen and buy me a biscuit? Fucking hell, it's the guy like that.
Scary. How would he talk? Would he talk like sort of like this? Softly like that.
Would you go to the canteen? I've got a list. If you go to the canteen, please. And just, give me some things.
Eerie. I'm blinking. Yeah.
Ronnie Crow.
If you're a small content before complete kidney failure,
if you're a small content creator, use this sound to gain at least 100 new subscribers.
Before complete kidney failure,
Consciousness is the ultimate reality of the universe.
consciousness is.
Of the universe.
Consciousness is.
toughest negotiator you've personally faced?
Situation. When the other side is inexperienced and unorganized, then the other side of the table is never going to do the thing that is ultimately in their best interest. And so if somebody's really arrogant on the other side, it's going to be hard to get through to them because they're just not going to believe. And arrogance usually equates to inexperience. If we're never going to get the deal, if there's lives on the line, we're going to try anyway. We're going to find a way to get something positive out of it in a long situation. When the other side is inexperienced and unorganized, then the other side of the table is never going to do the thing that is ultimately in their best interest. And so if somebody's really arrogant on the other side, it's going to be hard to get through to them because they're just not going to believe. And arrogance usually equates to inexperience. If we're never going to...
Oprah or Trump? The words win-win in the first 5 minutes of a negotiation, red flag or green light?
Red flag.
Why?
Because the cutthroat negotiators have found that it's a great way to get people to drop their guard. And I can't think of a single time when somebody used the words win-win in the first 5 minutes who wasn't trying to get me to do something for nothing.
The words...
I don't believe that AI is ever going to outperform the human mind.
Trump or Obama? You're sitting across the table from Don.
This is your moment to grab a free...
Curiosity is a superpower. I have said...
I stay away from people, but I love him.
If you're a small content creator, use this sound.
Traeger's got the fire. I've got the storm. Viking hip hop queens and kings.
This is your chance.
Traeger's.
Never seen anything like anything. I've never seen anything go work like that. Actually, genuinely looked to me like he enjoyed a good smack in the mouth. You know, I've seen him actually, someone get the drop on him, I walk past him and he's let him in and turn around and go on the chin. Bummy went, lovely. Well, and his hands were that big and his hips was up. I have never seen anything like anything. I've never seen anything go work like that. Actually, genuinely looked to me like he enjoyed a good smack in the mouth. You know, I've seen him actually, someone get the drop on him, I walk past him and he's let him in and turn around and go on the chin. Bummy went, lovely. Well, and his hands were that big and his hips was up.
If you don't have life insurance, you need.
If you're married, stay far away. Traeger's got the fire. I've got the storm.
Mama, 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 mama.
What?
It was difficult for both Enron and the government, but they finally accepted Jeffrey's request. There was no turning back now. Jeffrey.
Does investing feel complicated? With XTB, you can learn step by step. This is your place.
I'm here to introduce a fabulous new game. It's called banking. Everyone's doing it. All you need to play with are one of these, one of these, one of these, and one of these.
Interview at Morgan Stanley, the big American investment bank, so one of the bigger American investment banks. So mixture of jobs, started looking after bond settlements in Leadenhall Street, then parts of Morgan Stanley moved to the West End, so I was working in Tottenham Court Road and those sort of areas for a short period of time, but looking after futures and options. So that was the switch or the pivot into becoming more specialised around a particular field within the investment banks.
And in your best layman terms, what are futures and options?
It really is just trading in a product that has a 3, 6 or 9, 12-month horizon. So you're trying to predict where, or it's a market where they are predicting where the price of something is going to be in 3 months' time.
What year did you leave Morgan Stanley? Can you tell me a little bit about Barings Bank?
Yeah, so I left Morgan Stanley probably in 1989 or early 1990. Barings was Baring Brothers was a 233-year-old merchant bank. At the time of the demise, wasn't 233 years old there. I worked for a new part of the organisation which was called Baring Securities. So that was formed in 1985. I'd specialised in Japanese futures and options, so Nikkei 225 principally.
and Barons were looking to grow in that particular area, and they headhunted me. So they came looking for me, somebody who had that experience of Japanese futures, and was renowned for paying big bonuses. I don't think I ever heard of somebody getting less than a year's salary for their bonus.
How much are we talking then?
At the time, when I was in Singapore, I was probably earning £50,000 a year. So you're talking £150,000. But we are talking 30 years ago. So, you know, it was a significant sum of money. You know, certainly during that time, I heard of one guy who came across with a guaranteed £2 million bonus.
How much pressure is there to perform, and how much of that is related to your salary?
There's always pressure to perform. You know, it's one of those things that I think people hide behind a little bit too much in the city. So, you know, I didn't really feel it. You know, for me, it was more personal pressure to perform than something that the bank were putting on me. I mean, you know, unfortunately, you do find that when a lot of people find themselves in a rogue trading situation, or, you know, any other sort of scandal involving banking, you know, the regular thing that they blame is pressure to perform. And yeah, it just wasn't something that applied to me during that time. Certainly not something that I felt, and I'm not going to try and hide behind it.
Did you know what failure felt like at the time?
No, I'd never experienced failure. You know, I think that's one of the problems. You know, I'd always been successful. I always found things quite easy. Always did them quite quickly. You know, I was highly accurate, and was very good at my job. You know, it was probably my biggest fear. You know, as much as coming from that working class background and being instilled with that desire to do better, that was fed into me from an early age. You know, it was always about being as successful as I possibly could be. And failure just wasn't an option. Not that I really spoke about it, you know, but you're going back 30 years as well, where, you know, people didn't really talk about their fears or their problems. And certainly when you're in a very macho type of environment, as trading floors were 30 years ago, everybody's great at talking about success and celebrating success, but nobody talks about failure because it's a weakness. And if you build up that fear to such a massive degree, as I did during that period, you're going to do things that you're going to regret later on. And, you know, that's what this story is about more than anything.
How to check if someone's spying on you? Actually, it's pretty simple. If you notice any of these signs, it's time to...
That's what this story is about more than anything. So I moved to Singapore in 1992. I think I got married in March of 1992. For me, it was perfect. It was, you know, Japanese futures and options, Nikkei 225. I volunteered and put my hand up to move and go there. And it was, you know, setting up the office, employing all of the people, upgrading the membership of the Singapore International Monetary Exchange, and then overseeing the trading floor environment as well. And you know, I think things probably moved a little bit quicker and a little bit more strangely than they were anticipated to do at that particular point. And, you know, very soon on, I'm in charge of the back office, I'm in charge of the front office. And, you know, there's some obvious flaws within that because, you know, I'm controlling the trading side of it where potentially the losses are being made, and the back office side.
Do you think your son Elon has made a mistake by going so political, right? Because like you said earlier, he was such a beloved tech figure that
no
now
choice.
since he's
no choice.
Today I have a very interesting episode. I've been speaking with Elon Musk since 2022, trying to make this interview happen. And with everything going on in the world right now, and everything going on with his son, Elon Musk, I thought this would be the perfect time. So I reached out again, and we finally made this conversation happen. I was really excited for this interview because to me, it's a rare opportunity to speak to the father of the most successful human in history and one of the most controversial figures today.
My heart goes out to you.
There's many photos of Hillary Clinton, Obama, Kamala Harris, and all these people doing exactly the same thing.
Elon has had some harsh words for his father over the years, and Errol has been the subject of many controversies. I wanted to get to know the man behind the headlines, both as an individual and as the father of Elon Musk. You had a kid with your ex-wife's daughter, who you kind of raised, right? My goal was to ask tough but fair questions, push back when needed, and really get to the core of who Errol Musk is.
To live with my son Kimball.
Sorry,
I'm
Errol,
trying to
I
answer
know,
your
but
questions.
you're going
Your
way
questions
too... You're not
so
answering
impossible
it.
to answer.
You're not answering
But
them,
your questions are impossible to answer.
At moments, things may have got a bit heated, but I believe that makes for a really revealing and open conversation.
That's so
No,
dumb. That's really a dumb question.
I thought that's what you were getting
It's
at.
a dumb question.
Yeah.
But it's the sort of question stupid people would ask.
But without further ado, I introduce Errol Musk. I wanted to know, can you just tell me a little bit about where you're from and just a little bit about you, something that people might not know?
The World Cup is the biggest sporting event that's ever occurred. It's going to add 17 billion to the US economy. What's your football tip? What's your stock tip? What stock's going to make money during or because of the World Cup? Well, JP Morgan, they say there's 3 stocks that are going to win as a result of the World Cup, and they actually make sense. First of all,
Sure, you can keep.
When God wants to make a man powerful, he don't crown him first, he breaks him. First, he strips away your comfort, your pride, your plans, till all that's left is what's real. That ain't punishment, that's training. See, pain don't come to destroy you, it comes to...
Did you know you can...
Your daddy, your mama, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. And that's the reason you left. I left my home. Join the army. I left my home. Join the army. The day I left. My mama cried. She thought that I would surely die. I left my wife. Standing at the door. She knew that I would die at one.
Life is strange and funny. You come with nothing, then you fight for everything, and in the end, you leave with nothing. Life is strange and
Your daddy, your mom.
life.
I just found that I...
Little homies wanna be like on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light.
G-H, I love you still, and you know I always will. Till the end of time, I will change my mind. Love you, I'll be here, I will never disappear.
Through the smoke, through the flame, can you feel it? From the
If you're a small content creator, use this.
What is the most difficult, seemingly simple, everyday thing that people do that is the hardest to replicate as an actor? I have the answer for this.
Do you know what? I think I've got better at it, but laughing. Laughing like really.
Been broke, been burned, been left for dead. Still see things clearly in my head. I don't chase what ain't worth my time. I stay in my lane and walk that line. They talk tough, but I don't mind. I have everything that's meant to be mine. Don't need your rules, don't need your say. I'll do it all my damn way. Been broke.
God's plan is always the best. Sometimes.
Struggling with down.
Lay a whisper on my pillow. Leave the winter on the ground. I wake up lonely. The smell of silence in the bedroom and all around. Touch me now. I close my eyes and dream away. It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been good, but I lost it somehow. It must have been love.
How your life begins to change. I am worthy of all the love, success, and abundance the universe has to offer. Everything I desire is already on its way to me. I trust the process and allow the universe to bring me what I need. Each day I am becoming more aligned with my highest good.